Breaking news. We just received reports that the famous criminal anti-government guy has just stolen the Constitution. The Constitution is the basic framework of the American government. It is also the supreme law of the land that everyone follows.
So without the Constitution, representative democracy wouldn't exist. Representative democracy is a part of our government system which has elected officials voted on by the people, the Senate and the House.
Logan was saying citizens can participate by voting on who represents them. They can also participate by sending letters to the president about our concerns with the government.
But all of that would be taken away. There would be no power to the citizens, they would lose their rights, and there would no longer be a legislative branch. The citizens would not know what's right or wrong. Plus, they wouldn't be punished to the full extent.
It's so goddamn cold! Hey! Get back here!
No, you don't get to tackle him yet.
What do you think you're going to accomplish by taking the Constitution?
I believe America should go back to a unitarian government.
Do you think federalism would be affected?
Well, federalism is the way state and national governments separate their power. They also share powers. Also, local governments can get their power from state powers. They do this so that the central government can be strong.
Some examples are both federal and state have to protect public health and safety, establish courts, and make and enforce laws. Another example is how federal governments can set money systems for all states in the city and cities in the USA.
Also, states choose when the voting takes place and the federal system could enforce people to vote. We now go to Derek for the answer of what would happen without it.
Thanks, Nate. Without federalism, the state governments could overrule national government. Each state would be like a separate country. It would go back to the Articles of Confederation. The Articles were the state's first constitution that failed due to the lack of central government and due to the lack of powers for the federal government. The states had too much power, and it was like they were their own separate countries with their own currency and laws. It caused economic disorganization and legislative inefficiencies.
Separation of powers be affected, right?
Yes, definitely. The separation of powers is the power distributed into the three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial.
The way it works in the U.S. is the executive branch enforces and administrates the law and also commands armed forces. The legislative branch can make laws, grant money, declares war, ratifies treaties, and confirms presidential appointments. The judicial branch can interpret law, review lower court decisions, and can declare executive actions unconstitutional.
How would this change in powers affect the citizens without the Constitution?
Now laws would be made and no one would have the power, or one branch would have too much power. Because of that, citizens would be unhappy, so protests would be...
You know, Logan, we really haven't talked that much about checks and balances.
Okay, well, checks and balances are where each branch can check each other and make sure that they're using their power they have properly.
For example, the judicial branch can declare the legislative laws unconstitutional. The legislative branch can override presidential vetoes.
How would this change in powers affect the citizens without the Constitution?
There could be one branch that overpowers every other branch, like how the judicial branch would be able to say a president signing a law unconstitutional, or how the legislative branch couldn't vote out a president or Supreme Court judge. It could lead to taking away the people's rights. We've just been notified that Officer Trevor has just caught anti-government guy. Now we, the people, can have our government back again.
Hey, get back here! Hey, boy! Get back here!
Tackle. Yay, the Constitution is saved!
I'll do anything for my country.
Get back in the ground! You stay!
Go whenever.
Okay, shut up!
Stop!
Okay, ready, here we go.
Get to the job.
Wait, are you done? Yeah. Okay, ready? Breaking news! We've just received reports that the famous...
Stop!
Hey, come on, I'll be the cameraman.
Stop.
Okay, seriously, we have to get at least the first line done.
Get out.
3, 2, 1, go.
So how would it? So how would this change the? How would this change in powers? What? So.